you have questions, please feel free to ask your questions. If you have any question, you can raise up your hand to join the queue, or you have any contribution. At the bottom of the screen, you will see some three dots. When the three, you will now see the hand icon like this. And when you click it, your hand will be raised like this. So that's how you go about that. Let me turn this off. Like I was saying, we have these sessions very, very, very often. And if this is not your first time of being a part of this meeting, this will not be new to you. But if this is your first time, we do this as often as possible when there are new updates. If you're on the WhatsApp platform, great. If you are not yet there, please indicate and join. Follow us on our social media platforms. I will be telling you more about that in a moment. In our last conversations, there were a lot of discussions concerning what mechanics should know and what each of and every one of us car users should know even before taking your car to even a mechanic. And interestingly, there were lots of questions here that day where the topic was imported versus Nigerian used cars. And there were lots of questions that day where our able boss, the MDCO of vehicle use and vehicle checks, he was able, based on his years of experience, to advise on a lot of things that seems to be confusing to both Nigerian mechanics and even car users that were online that day. And yes, so we do have this kind of conversations for car enthusiasts. So please feel free to share from your wealth of knowledge, both at the webinar and even on our group. And like I said earlier, if you want to turn off your camera, you can turn it off at the bottom left of your screen. You will click the camera icon and your camera will go off. And if you have questions, like I said, you will click the three dots and the hand icon will appear. You will use it to raise your hand, indicating that you have a question or you have a contribution. So after every presentation, will call us up to make our contributions and ask our questions. Without any further ado, let's get into what is on ground for today. So today, what we'll be discussing, the transition, or let me say it as it is in the topic, electric vehicle transition bill. It is going to be explained, and we're going to be talking about the opportunities, the impacts, the challenges. And the conversation has started already on the WhatsApp group. If you are on our WhatsApp group, the conversation is quite rich. There are different opinions. I might, read out some interesting opinions that were aired on the group, just as at the course of the meeting and as our presentation goes on. So let me welcome our very, very able speaker. He's like a father to us here, and we really, really, really value his presence always, always, always. We value his presence here with us always. I remember the last time we had him on, it was a very, very, very wonderful time. It was a very, very wonderful time. So without any further ado, please join me as I welcome my Oga, Dr. Lawal Gada, of Green Finance and E-Mobility Specialist. My Oga, sir, how are you today?
I'm very good. Thank you very much for welcoming me to this August occasion.
Thank you, sir.
In which we are discussing the way forward for electric vehicle in Nigeria.
Yes, sir. Thank you for always being a part of this. So just before we go on, okay, let me let you go. Let me just ask, are you going to be displaying from your end, or should we share the screen from here?
You can share the screen from your end, please.
Okay, sir. Just a
Thank you.
moment. Let me put it up. Yes, so as I was saying, Dr. Lawal is has been at the forefront of transitioning our automobile or transitioning our entire automobile industry, into electric, and he's going to be talking more on about himself, his journey so far, but um he is very rich in knowledge in this conversation, in this particular topic of today. So I want us all to be very attentive as possible. Okay.
Are you projecting the slides?
Yes, I'm trying to put it up for you, sir. Can we confirm seeing my screen?
Yes, please. Yes, the
Okay.
screen is up.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Taufik. Doctor, are you with us, sir? You can see the screen, right? Doctor, sir, are you there?
Yeah. I'm I'm I'm
Okay,
here.
sir.
I'm with you.
Can we see the screen, sir?
I'm with you.
Yes, I'm asking if you can see the screen. I want to be sure you can see the screen.
No, I haven't seen the screen yet.
Okay, I think it might be maybe your network on your end, but it's already displaying. And
It's displaying here from your end.
yes, it's already like I'm already sharing the screen now for us to see. So I think it has not appeared on your end yet.
Okay,
The screen is
let me try displaying from my end.
Okay, sir. Let me just stop.
Alternatively, or the
I
okay,
will
I
stop
can see it.
sharing.
I can see it now.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
I can see now very well.
Okay, sir. I'll be turning off my
Okay,
camera now and my audio.
okay. Am I good to go?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this series of webinars on the electric vehicle development in Nigeria. I think this is the third or fourth organized by Vehicle Check. This is a good effort and private sector led for that matter. Today, without wasting much time, we are going to examine the Nigeria's Electric Transition and Green Mobility Bill 2025, which is before the National Assembly at the moment. And along the line, we'll try to explore the opportunities that are embedded in the bill, the impact it is likely to create, as well as the likely challenges before, during, or after the implementation of the bill. Next slide, please. You see, as a content or as a preamble of what we are going to learn this evening, We are going to have a brief introduction on this bill as well as the policy overview. What are the overview of this bill that is before the National Assembly regarding electric vehicle transition and green mobility? Then we'll go to examine a little global context vis-a-vis the situation in our country. Then we try to examine those impact both economically, socially, as well as environmentally. So we'll see how this bill, if passed into law, how it is going to impact on the Nigeria and the Nigerians as a whole. Then we will look at those implementation challenges of this bill. If passed into law, what are the likely challenges that we are going to see? Then we conclude. Next slide. By way of introduction, we all know that today Nigeria is above 230 million. According to the recent statistics released by World Bank, it is quoting around 237 million. Then some quarters are quoting up to 239 million. But in a nutshell, the Nigerian population is above 200 million. That is undoubtable and uncontestable. So which means we have a large market for EVs and whatever product that can be produced for the use of mankind. Nigeria is a big market. And we know the projection that by 2050, Nigeria is going to be the fourth largest population. I mean, the third largest. It will beat US and after China and India, Nigeria will be the third by 2050. Now, again, Nigeria is the largest economy in West Africa. This is the macro economy I'm trying to examine to see our position today and the impact that is to have on EVs if we start to adopt it. So as a largest economy, it means that there is greater opportunity. As of today, statistics have shown that we have about 12 million vehicles plying Nigerian roads. 12 million. So we can see that if part of this 12 million can be retrofitted or converted to electric or replaced by electric, it will be a great fortune for Nigeria. Therefore, we all know that road transportation is contributing significantly to the carbon emission, which is greenhouse gas emission, which is largely carbon dioxide coming from the exhaust of the internal combustion engines. So to have sustainable transportation, expert has said electric vehicle is a pathway, is a sustainable pathway for green mobility. And that is why experts come together to come up with a bill that will provide a framework and a roadmap for electric vehicle adoption in Nigeria. Next slide. Next slide, please. Now, as an overview of the bill before the National Assembly, which is TAG EB Transition and Green Mobility Bill 2025. This bill is actually introduced, it was actually introduced onto the floor of the Senate by distinguished Senator Oji Uzo Kalu from Abia State. And the bill at the moment has passed second reading. It has first, second reading, which means it remains only one reading for it to be passed into law. Once it goes into the third reading, it will be passed into law and it becomes a legal document to be used. Now, there are major policy framework in that bill, which number one is, as an overview, is a gradual phase out mandate for all the relevant authorities how we can phase out internal combustion engines using either petrol, diesel, or as the case may be. So this bill has made provision for the gradual phasing out of the internal combustion engine, otherwise known as ICE engines. So that is the first provision in this bill. The second major provision in this bill is the promotion of local content, which tends to provide manufacturing hub, which is the assembly for electric vehicle in the country. We will see the target, the initial target, the medium term and the long term target of what we are looking at to boost local manufacturing and assembling of electric vehicle in Nigeria, which is aimed at positioning Nigeria as Africa's leading electric manufacturing center, electric vehicle manufacturing center. Then the third pillar of the bill, which is the infrastructure requirement. We know in the previous webinar, we have been discussing about the challenges of the infrastructure requirement for electric vehicle, largely the charging stations. So we are going to discuss this where it belongs to either a challenge or opportunity. So these are the major pillars in this EB and the Green Mobility Bill, which is before the Senate of the National Assembly. Next slide, please. Now, the bill made the following requirement for its implementation. In other words, it provides some mandates that are required to implement the bill. The mandate number one, like I said, is the gradual phasing out of the internal combustion engines using petrol or diesel, as the case may be. So this bill has made provisions on how Nigeria will gradually start to phase out petrol and diesel vehicles from our roads. So the bill has made specific targets. You can see that it recommends gradual phasing out. So there will be short-term, medium-term, and long-term provision of how ICE engine will be phased out in Nigeria. That is a mandate in that bill. The second mandate is the promotion of EV manufacturing hub in the country. So the bill tends to identify some clusters or hubs that will be identified as EV hub. For those of us who has been to China or who has read about China, we know that in China, there are manufacturing hubs for whatever product you know. And that's where the concept of value chain came about. If you go to a particular city, you will see that that city is dedicated to all the value chain. For example, if you say auto manufacturing, so you will see that the components of the automotive industry are being produced in a cluster, be it tires, be it batteries, be it ignition, be it whatever. So a city or some cities will be dedicated for that. So that is how they created manufacturing hub, otherwise known as manufacturing clusters. So this bill is also envisioning that kind of approach to electric vehicle for Nigeria. Then there is a mandate for charging infrastructure that should be rolled out for all filling stations or at all filling stations in the country. The rationale is that the way we enter filling station at an interval or from one point to another, either in the city or along the road or along the major road or even in the rural area, when your fuel exhaust, you just branch to a nearby filling station and take fuel. That is the same thinking for electric vehicle charging infrastructure. So every filling station will be encouraged, will be supported in one way or the other to also establish an EV charging station within that filling station. So how it is going to be rolled out uh, will be deliberated further. So that is another thing, because that is one of the imperatives for effective and major EV adoption in the country. There has to be this infrastructure. We identify charging infrastructure as a gap, as a challenge in the previous webinars. So therefore, this bill has taken cognizance of that challenge and is recommending that every filling station in one way or the other should have a charging station, an EV charging station within it. Then the next requirement or a mandate for this bill is the incentives. So like I said, there will be some tax incentives. You know, in the previous webinar, we discussed about both uh, positive incentive and negative one that will discourage the use of ICE engine. Then the positive one will promote both fiscal and non-fiscal incentives. So this bill made provisions for those incentives. So we have the incentive for tax holidays and duty waivers for people venturing into vehicle electrification and the green mobility. Then there will be subsidies and exemption. There will be toll exemption in this bill. So therefore, this bill has made a decisive provision for incentivizing the adoption of electric vehicles. Then, of course, in the issue of licensing, this policy or this bill has also made some requirement that there should be a minimum capacity of 500 unit of EV per year. Then the local content of that company should have at least 30% requirement for local content. So this local content need to be defined or will be defined as time goes on. Next slide, please. So these are some of the requirements and the provisions in this bill. Now we look at the global trend versus the Nigerian position of electric vehicles. We didn't bring China here because China is uncomparable. It is a leading hub for electric vehicle, both manufacturing and the usage. So we didn't even bring it because Nigeria is far below. Therefore, we take the closest example for the EU blocks. As of today, the presentation. Now, like I was saying, EU alone constitute about 17% of new cars sold, new EV cars sold in the world. And you can see it is reading above 15 million EVs. as of 2025, penetration in the EU. And India, in India, you see that it is somehow above 3 million vehicles, electric vehicles in India. So we take EU, I mean, and India as an example because China is not near, Nigeria is not near China. So we cannot even take China as an example because China is leading globally. So Nigeria is not even near it. Now, for Nigerian case, compared to these two major hubs of EB, Nigeria today is said to have a maximum ranging between 15 to 20,000 EBs. We can see BYD being rolled out in many locations like Maiduguri, in Abuja and Lagos. So EB really has started coming in, and today you can see electric vehicle in some of our car stand or major car vendors. So in Nigeria, we are just having about 15,000, which is grossly inadequate compared to, it's less than 1% of our population. It's less than 1% of our population, or is just about 1% of the vehicle on our Nigerian road, which is about 12 million. Therefore, Nigeria is very, very at the formative stage, is at the formative stage in EV. But this bill is expected to bring a boost for the EV. So this is just a little comparative analysis of Nigeria versus European Union and India, which are doing well, but not near China. China, like I said, are the leading manufacturers and the users of electric vehicle in the world. Next slide, please. Now, we come on to the opportunities and the likely impacts as well as the challenges for vehicle electrification in Nigeria, for the adoption of vehicle electrification in Nigeria. Like I said in the introduction and the overview, the bill will impact on the manufacturing sector. The EVs assembly plants and the battery production facilities will boost the Nigeria manufacturing capacity. You know, it will boost the local content. As we say, we are targeting minimum of 30% local content. Then there will be direct employment in the assembly. The more we can have vehicle assembly, there will be more employment. And that is a positive impact on the economy. As the more employment we have, the more revenue individual we have, and the more standard of living. The standard of living of the individuals in the country will be boosted. The supply chain development, you will see that the supply chain from both the raw material up to the finished goods and the marketing, the entire supply chain and the value chain will be boosted. So there will be millions of new jobs that will be created along the line once this bill comes into being. Then there will be transfer of technology programs. Nigerians will be sent to countries like China, India, or some European Union who are doing well in EVs, and that technology will be transferred back to Nigeria. So there will be transfer of technology. And of course, during the transfer of technology, you know that research and development will be enhanced in our institutions, either tertiary or research institutions in Nigeria. Then you can see, like I said, 30% EV registration by 2030, which is just in the next 3 years. We are targeting 30% increase in EV registration. As of today, we just have about 1% or just 1.5% of EV registration. So we are targeting 30%, and this is achievable once there is political will and determination by Nigerians to achieve this target. So, but to do that, we need to have infrastructure development. Like I said, infrastructure development, the charging infrastructure network and the service ecosystem has to be enhanced, you know. Then the charging station operators, their capacity has to be boosted. There has to be, just like now, like we have the proliferation of private medical centers, so also we have now the advent of biotechnology engineers who are now servicing those modern machines like CT scan and what have you that does not exist before. So likewise, by the time we have a large-scale proliferation of EVs and the charging station, we need to have the charging station operators and engineers who will be able to service those ones. Then, as we know, we have challenges of electricity or regular supply of electricity. Then the grid infrastructure need to be upgraded, or we need to enhance the upgrade energy supply, like what the NADDC did over the years. It established its own upgrade charging station. You know, in all the centers, it has established, and all the charging station NADDC has established so far, they were all upgrid, which means they can stand on their own without relying on the grid electricity. Then the maintenance and the support services are also requirement for opportunities. These are all opportunities that can create employment. These are all opportunities that can create jobs and, of course, increase income for those people providing those services, you know. So we are trying to itemize or highlight the opportunities that are embedded in this bill if passed into law. Then, of course, we look at the supply chain growth. Like I said, the local content will be enhanced by a minimum of 30%, and that is that will be a great achievement. You know, if you look at, there will be potential of 4.5 trillion investment potential for the EB. If you look at 30% EB adoption against 12 million ICE engine that are moving our vehicle, on the road today, that is about 3 million vehicles converted into EV or replaced by electric vehicles. If we are buying them at an average of $10,000, you know, minimum, that's the minimum, that's the least EV you can have, an average of $10,000. You know, if you multiply that by 3 million, you know what you have. Coupled with the charging infrastructure as well as the labor, you know. So this is a minimum of 4.5 trillion investment potential in the short term. In the long term, it's going to increase as the percentage of adoption increase. Then the emission reduction environmentally, we are forecasting 15 to 25% emission reduction from the baseline of what we have today. So these are some of the opportunities. These are the summary of the economic impact and job creation that this bill is going to provide once passed into law. Next slide. Now, today we are talking of sustainable development. So whenever you talk of economic impact, you have to talk about the environmental impact as well as the social impact. The social impact, we have already enumerated the impact it will have on job creation. That is a social impact. So for the environmental impact, this bill is going to have, you know, today we have about 25.4 million metric ton of carbon emission in Nigeria. So if this bill is passed into law and there was that 30% adoption, then there will be reduction of about 14%, 14 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent emission as a result of adoption of electric vehicles. We know that they are cleaner, they are more environmentally friendly because they emit less carbon dioxide compared to internal combustion engines. So there will be a net saving of 11,400,000 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent, which is a good carbon credit that could be attracted to the country. So once you are able to save 11.4 million tons of carbon dioxide, you can apply for carbon credit. Some countries that are emitting higher carbon dioxide will buy this carbon credit equivalent, and that is an income for the country and the developers or the manufacturers that are assembling electric vehicles, as well as the users. So there will be 25% reduction in transportation emission, which is a great saving over the next 25 years. Then there will be enhanced public health because we know inhalation of the carbon monoxide, it causes cancer, it causes so many airborne diseases that can be prevented if our air quality is enhanced through the adoption of electric vehicles. So these are some of the environmental impacts that this bill can have if passed into law and implemented. Next slide. Now, whatever has opportunity, to every opportunity, there is likely a corresponding challenge that need to be overcome in order to see to the actualization of that opportunity. The electric vehicle transition challenges during the implementation or after or before the implementation. There is likely to be these challenges, which I converted to a SWOT analysis. For those who know business development or manpower, we have what we call the SWOT analysis: the strength, weakness, threat, and the opportunities. You know, the strength is if we are able to have, or we need at least 10,000 charging infrastructure. If we have that, then it will be a strength. That gap, if we are able to fill it, it will be a plus, it will be a strength for Nigeria. But the weakness or the challenge of that is the higher upfront cost for EV charging station and EV vehicle. Today, an electric vehicle costs at least 1.3 times more than the internal combustion vehicle. So, which means if you can buy internal combustion engine at $10,000, then electric vehicle will cost at least $13,000, a similar electric vehicle. So that upfront cost is a challenge for now. By the time we have scale, the price is likely going to come down because once there is competition, once there is scale in the market, there is going to have a reduction in price. We all know the economic of scale. The higher the quantity, the lower the likelihood of the price. So then there will be workforce transition. The workforce today will transit from uh, internal combustion engine to the electric vehicle. So the entire process is a transition process. We are all using ICE engine today with only exemption of 15,000 Nigerians who owns electric vehicle today, who are the pioneers. So the remaining almost 20 million Nigeria, 200 million Nigerians using above the 10 million vehicle are still using ICE engine. So the workforce itself in the automotive industry will transit from the internal combustion engines to electric vehicle. Of course, the policy and funding. Of course, we are already working on the policy. This is one of it. This bill is one of the policy development coming up as a result of the advocation for electric vehicle in the country. Before now, nobody talk of a bill for electric vehicle. Nobody talk on policy for electric vehicle. But today we are talking about it. Then there is likely to be catalytic funding or catalytic financing for electric vehicle adoption in the country. So this is going to stimulate, this is going to facilitate the adoption of EVs in the country. So we can see these are some of the challenges that can turn to be opportunities if implemented adequately. Next slide, please. So you can see that there are really challenges, and one of them is the infrastructure gap. Now, we have the implementation roadmap. The implementation roadmap is that we need to have an accelerated passage of this bill. The Senate need to pass this bill, fast track the green mobility or the EB Bill 2025 so that the implementation can start soonest. If we have the target of 2030, then we are talking of just about 5 years to achieve that target. So the earlier this bill is passed into law and its implementation starts in earnest, then the better for the country. Of course, we need to embrace public-private partnerships in the investment in charging infrastructure through strategic partnership. Because, for example, the filling station could be private and the government could provide more lands for private investors to provide more charging stations. And of course, the policy framework is by the government. Agencies like NADDC can be empowered or supported to give more support to electric vehicle adoption. And of course, capacity building, workforce development. We need to develop the capacity of the workforce that will be involved in servicing and maintenance of electric vehicles. This is very important. Under this, we need to have standard operating procedures for vehicle electrification. I know that NADDC has done standard operating procedure for the entire automotive industry, but we need to have the specific one for electric vehicles. We need to have specific one for vehicle electrification. Then there needs to be enhanced research and development, EB specific research and development, EB tailored, you know, just like when the renewable energy started. We started with solar panels of a capacity of between 100, 150, 200. Then it peaked to 230, 220. But today, we are talking of one single panel of solar with the capacity of 750 watts. You know, so that is the impact of research and development. Initially, we just have efficiency of just 100, 150 watts for solar panel. Likewise, the batteries. Today we have the lithium-ion batteries. We have other type of batteries. So we need to have that kind of research and development for electric vehicle. And this bill is just trying to do that when it is passed into law. Next slide. So you can see now these are the sustainability pathways that we need to have for us to really have a sustainable development as regard to e-mobility or electric vehicle transition from internal combustion engine running by petrol or diesel to green mobility, which is largely electric vehicles and maybe in the near future, hydrogen vehicles. So we need to have the quick passage of the EV transition bill. which we are talking about today. Then we need to have the establishment of electric vehicle development fund. We need to have a dedicated electric vehicle development fund that will support the players and the stakeholders in the EV value chain, in the EV ecosystem. There has to be some catalytic funding that will support and facilitate the adoption, both the off-takers and the users, both the demand and the supply side. We need to have that funding. So there has to be an innovative funding for that, just like what we have for renewable energy today. We have a support from the World Bank of over $750 million supporting the adoption of renewable energy. So for electric vehicle too, we need to have something like that. Then, of course, I mentioned the need for synergy between public and private partnership sectors. You see, what public sector can do is really, because of that initial upfront cost, budgetary provision can offset that difference. So government can bring in or can give target, say all ministry parastatal MDAs should acquire at least 10% of their plight or of their vehicles to be converted into electric vehicles. So with the budgetary provision, you see that the cost may not be a concern. But the private sector today, the upfront cost is a concern. But the private sector will be able to observe that initial upfront cost. So there is need for that synergy. Like the state government, we can encourage state governors to adopt EVs from the government vehicles, starting from the government houses and what have you. You see that they are all using SUVs. If you can convert those SUVs to EVs, it is part of public-private partnership. And it will be private sector that will do that conversion, just like the way we are doing the conversion of LNG today. We can also do the conversion to EVs and also the acquisition of new ones. Then there is need for full implementation of this bill if passed into law. So all the nitty-gritty of this bill should be embraced and implemented using the relevant implementation agencies like the NADDC, the Standard Organization of Nigeria, etc., etc. That is including the emission monitors like the NESRIA. Then, above all, there is need for political will to push the EV adoption. Once all these things are in place, if there is no political will, if the government of the day or next is not willing to push this, then we can't go anywhere. Of course, some people out of interest, out of hobby, just like what we have today, all the owners of the 15,000 EVs today are out of curiosity, out of hobby, and out of interest that they are starting to acquire EVs. But once there is a political will by the government, there will be widespread advocacy, there will be widespread promotions of EV. Agencies like National Orientation Agency will be encouraged to advocate for EV adoption in the country. So that political will really push, will really give a leapfrogging to EV adoption in the country. Next slide. So these are the sustainability pathways if we want transit sustainably from electric vehicle, from internal combustion engine using petrol or diesel, as the case may be, to greener e-mobility of electric vehicle. Next slide. So this brings us to the conclusion Of course, Nigeria stand to benefit a lot from the point I advanced earlier, from the passage of this ongoing electric vehicle transition and the green mobility, which is before the Senate, and it has already passed the second reading in the National Assembly. Of course, I conclude by saying that the requirement for a local manufacturer or assembler to be licensed, that he or she should have the capacity of producing 500 electric vehicles per annum. This may limit the participation of new entrants, that is start-off, and ultimately limit the speed of EV adoption in the country, which means that we need to look at this provision of the bill that requires the EV manufacturer or assembler, the auto industry, that you have to have a capacity of 5,000 vehicles to be able to be licensed. So we need to really bring down this to encourage start of, otherwise you are just talking of only big players in the industry that can play, and that will limit the scope, that will limit the really expansion, the speed at which EV will be embraced. If you just limit it to one or two, three companies that have this capacity, I'm not sure if we have plenty of vehicle manufacturers or assemblers that have this capacity of assembling up to 5,000 vehicles per annum in the country. So we need to bring this down. This is the provision in the bill. So in other words, I'm saying there is need to review this. It's a challenge that can limit the participation of new entrants or start-up or even middle cadre vehicle assemblers. Then last but not the least, for an effective transition from internal combustion to electric vehicle, we require an effective synergy or partnership between public and private sector to promote electric vehicle adoption in the country. Thank you, and God bless Nigeria. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening. I'm ready for question and answer, inshallah.
Oh, thank you so very, very much, sir. Yes, so just because of our time, I say that I know that there are lots of questions. So, like I said, if you have questions, please click the three dots at the bottom of your screen, and you will see an hand icon. Click the hand icon. You will raise your hand to indicate that you have a question. And we are going to be taking out questions in a moment. And if you want to off your camera, at the bottom left of your screen, you can click that camera icon like this. Now I've turned on my camera. So you can turn it off by clicking the camera icon, and it's going to turn it off for you. And so because of our time, like I said, I'm going to be allowing our MDC or vehicle checks and vehicle use to also speak so that we can have all the questions together. So when you want to ask your question, you will just indicate who you are directing the question to. If it is to Dr. Lawal or to Engineer Banjo, you will just indicate so that you can direct your question to them. So please just leave your hands raised in the on the line. Leave the hands raised on the line, and we'll be taking the questions one after the other so that you will not forget. You can put it on the chat or you can write it down. Please don't forget your question and you want to direct it to. So without wasting much of our time, let us thank you so much, Dr. Sir, for your detailed analysis and all this. This is actually a very, very detailed presentation. We do not take this for granted. Thank you, sir. Engineer, are you with us, Amanda?
Thank you. Yes,
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes.
Okay, engineer, please go on, sir. So take all the questions together after the presentation of Mr. Engineer Dapo. or
Engineer.
engineer builder, panel.
Okay.
Please go on, sir.
Good evening, everyone. I want to say good evening to everyone. Thank you so much for always coming through to this wonderful webinar. Doctor, I really appreciate you, sir. You've been very good to us. We call you every time and you come through, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you
In
too.
person. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I wish the National Assembly decided to give you the job to do the bill. It would have been a lot easier if they had done the bill like this for us to see actual figures and plans of what they are doing. So let me not take our time. See, I've gone through the bill. Me, I won't be doing mine like doctor. Doctor is here to take us through the bill. Mine is to try to see from a different perspective, and then we come together and make things happen, because it has come to stay. There's not much we can do, but the best we can do is to come together and say, okay, now this is happening. The little inputs that we can bring in, we will just try to bring it from everywhere and try to encourage or give our own side of the story to the government. Now, I know for most people who have been coming through to this webinar, for me, I'm a mechanic. I'm not a doctor anyway, so I'm not a professor or a doctor, but I'm a mechanic. This is what I do every single day. I've worked with most vehicle manufacturers, and I'm a qualified EV mechanic as well, so they call us technicians anyway. So I'm a qualified EV technician, so I'm speaking from a technician's perspective. I'm speaking from a user perspective, and I'm speaking from a repair technician perspective. So let me put it that now let me start from the points where we go in the saying that, see, no, we are transitioning. We don't have a problem, but the problem now is it going to be state-based? Now, every transitioning in any country is usually state-based. Let's say, for example, let's use the US, or let's even use India. Now, the amount of EVs you have in Mumbai is not the amount of EVs you have in the rural areas. Now, because of infrastructure, they decide to say, okay, good, Mumbai, they decide to share the amount of EV, but they have a general amount of EV that wants to exist in the system. If the general EV that wants to exist in the system is, let's say, 200,000, or let's say 2 million. Now, what they do is they have a general amount, but let's say 1.5 million might be in Mumbai, and then 500,000 might be in every other place. So how many, if you say 30%, how many vehicles do we have in Nigeria right now? I don't think we know. So let's always put a figure so that we know we're people who want to invest in that aspect, in that sector, decides to say, okay, good, this is what we're working with. It makes it easier for everybody, and we understand that, okay, good, we're only doing 5 million cars. And if you know somebody who has already done 1 million, then we start asking the government, why did you give this person 1 million when we only have 5 million in total? If we have 5 billion in total, let's not give one person 1 million. Let's now share the responsibility to multiple people, so we don't have people deciding how much a car is going to worth in a system where it's supposed to worth maybe $5,000. The person decides to sell $50,000. That's monopoly. Unfortunately, there's not much we can do about it, because that person has the monopoly of bringing more in. There's nothing we can do about it. So let the National Assembly be clear on that. Let's know how many cars. Don't just give us 30%. Tell us precisely how many it is. Now, another one is, which of the EVs are we deciding to go with? Now, I will share a document. Now, this is for the US. Just for explanation's sake, it is easier for me to use that document to explain. This is how laws are being passed, and this is a proper, detailed document that shows how we want to go about it. So let me share my screen. So it's easier for me to run with it. Let me present now. Screen. Please let me know if you can see my screen now. I hope everybody can see my screen now.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, thank you. All right. So this document is online. So anybody can go to congress.gov to give up to see this document. Now, in these documents, they give a summary that we have different types of EVs. Now, for the sake of these documents, they only want HEVs, PHEVs, BHEVs, which is battery powered on. That's the full EV. It is going to be hybrid electric EVs, plug-in hybrid electric EVs, and the full electric EVs. Now, they have a target of this the amount of all three of them coming into the system. So the custom stops whatever they don't want to come into the system. So which one are we rooting for? Are we first going to say, let's root for HEVs, let's see how HEVs are doing, then we go PHEVs. So let's say let's do 1 million HEVs first, and then let's see how we move. If we now want to do plug-in or charging infrastructure, let's try it with PHEVs. Now PHEVs, you can still charge it at home as well, but you can then use the charging infrastructure outside. Let's use that to test the grid, because those ones don't require more than 48 volts. Between 24 to 48 volts, it doesn't require more than that. Now let's use that to try to start scaling up. How are we going to do the transitioning, and which one precisely are we going to bring in? Because if we bring full electric every time, and we don't have the infrastructure to actually supply a lot of electricity to charge the full electric, there is no point bringing full electrics. So what is the output of our electricity now? So we can use that to say, PHCN, how much can you give the grid? This is the total amount I can give the grid. Now, another thing I expect the government to put on the bill is charging station locations. Now you have to allocate the land and give it to people, because if you insist that a filling station should do it, what if they don't want to do it? It means they don't want to do it. There's not much you can do about it. You cannot force anybody. And if you're putting a cap on the price of charging, or you're putting a law on anything, or you're putting accountability, for example, that if I come to your charging station and I charge my battery, or I charge my vehicle, and something happens to my battery through bad electricity surge or whatever, because you are doing your own off-grid, and your off-grid now spoils my battery, what happens to me? So if the National Assembly now decides to say, in cases like that, the person who gives you an off-grid electricity is the one that is going to pay you for it, a lot of people are not going to do it. I don't know if we understand what I mean. A lot of people are just going to say, see, I don't want to be a part of it, because you are putting accountability and I have to be paying for something. And then with that, somebody will say, see, how much do I want to even charge the person for coming to use my charging station? It's not that much of money. I don't want to now go and charge a Tesla, and then something now happens and I spoil the Tesla, and then there's a bigger problem. I don't want that. So if there's no accountability, a lot of people, if there's no accountability, plenty of people will go in. But if there's accountability, a lot of people will pull out, because they don't want to spoil other people's car. And let's not lie to ourselves. Having the right charging station costs a lot of money. So what is going to happen to that? That is not clear on that bill. We have to be clear on that. Now, let me go to another very, very important one. Government partnership and requirements for the vehicle manufacturers. Now, if you look in here, every single EV manufacturer, I mean every single EV manufacturer, partners with the government. The partnership is first with the government. The government gives them a requirement and says that, see, BYD, you are bringing your car in, I 100% support you. But you have to train people in here to know what to do on how to fix your cars. So what happens is BYD Nigeria, they now create a BYD Nigeria. Now BYD Nigeria decides to now send out their people. So they train people like doctors. Dr. Lawal is a they can see a document and understand it. People like doctor are going to just teach the theory part, and people like me then teach the practical part of that whole summary. And most of the time they just give it to people like me and say, okay, good, you understand the whole technology, read it, explain it to them, show them how to make it work. Do you understand? So the manufacturers are the ones who train people, not the government, not National Institute of Automotive, and no, nobody, because National Institute of Automotive or anything did not make the car. They don't make cars. They print documents and they read it. Because you print the document and you read doesn't mean you know how it works. Not all vehicle, I don't know how most, even when we say EV, no, most vehicles have different architecture, and it's not everyone I can work on. There are some I cannot work on because they require special tools. Because they require special tools, I have to go and buy the special tool for that vehicle in order to work on it. So there are different ways of looking at this. I am looking at it from a technician perspective. Now, let's move on. So you can see it is clear. This is the vehicle technology they want to take. And they already see this is the amount of internal combustion engine they want to take. This is how they want. You can see hybrid. They've already marked it. Plug-in hybrid, they know where they are going. We have to. They've told us this is a nice engine. This is what we are trying to eradicate, which 100% doctor has already taken care of. So I'm not going to spend time on that. Now, the part I want to spend time on, or I want to say something on, look at this charging infrastructure now. Inside the same bill, they've given us precisely what the charging infrastructure is going to look like. Now, there's a 120 volts, there's a 208 and 240 volts, and then the phase 3 is a 480 volts. Now, each stage, anybody that wants to, I don't know if anybody that's been to the US or anybody that lives in the US knows that private people invest in charging stations. Now, you can partner with somebody and put a charging station in front of his house, and then you guys share the money. He pays for the electricity, you pay for any other fixing it or whatever you guys agree on. Now, everybody comes through there, charge their car, they pay through their credit card, and they go. So in cases like that, the house already will not, you cannot have, the normal meter is not where you take your power from. You take the power from directly from the pole. So in cases like that, that's what we do. And sometimes most of the houses already have solar panel. If you want solar panel and you've done solar panel, you just send it straight into your charging station, problem solved. So who is going to have access to the 480 volts? They will already tell you. They will already tell you the requirements, which you can see here. They've given you the source where you can source it from, and they've given you the criteria. You cannot just bring it. It has to meet the standard of the US system before you can bring it. I don't think we have a standard yet in Nigeria. So anybody will bring something, we can't verify it. There's not much you can do about it. And if you keep spoiling people's cars, there's not much you can do too. Because until we have a standard, that's when then there's going to be laws to go against people. Now you can see the landscape. They have a policy on landscape, where it is going to be, how it is going to look like, who is going to do it. Everybody has a price, and then they put a price. They put a price on most of these things, and because they've given you a source to go and get it, and they put a price to it as well. It has to be like that. So anybody who is going into any charging infrastructure now, by just reading this bill, he understands exactly what he's getting himself into. No story. There's no need to just give me 2 lines and then tell me we'll figure it out when we get there. How are we going to figure it? What if you change the goalpost when we get there, and you say, oh, it's only the East that wants that has the power to actually do charging station, or it's only the East, or it's only the North, or it's only the South that has the power to be able to have manufacturing plants in their place. No, it doesn't work like that. Give us a clear term. Which of the states have the capacity to actually do these manufacturing plants, and how are we going to engage them? So if I'm in that state, Dr. Lawal decides to say, Mr. Benga, you are in the state that the government has actually allocated land for this manufacturing plant. How about we come together and let's do it together? 2 other people come to me and say, you are already there. There's no need for us to come and start fighting for land there. Let's just use somebody that's already there. Let's know, where are we going to? Who is going to be in charge of that aspect? Let's know who. So you cannot just pass a bill without us having a clear picture of where we are going to. So those are just a couple of things I have. I also have other things. Let's say manufacturer will too. See, another thing I was going to say, when they say the bill actually says manufacturers will have to, let me bring the bill up. It says they will have to partner with a Nigerian person in Nigeria for them to do business. Right now, they did not partner with anybody now, and they are doing business. They are selling cars to people who come there. They will just leave it to roam like that because they are making money. No, they don't have any cash. They don't have any stress. They don't have any fallbacks. They don't have any problems with this one happened to it in my country. How are you going to fix it? No stress. Nigerians come and sell it to each other. You go and fix it. You go and find your way. So why would they want to partner with Nigerians having more liability and making less money? Because you still want to control the market. So you're going to have to let go of a lot of things. And I don't think all this tax incentive, why not just reduce import duty? Reduce import duty for them, and then just make it cheaper for us to bring it in. Everybody will bring it in. Nobody will really care. And then registration too. Simple. Those 2 clears the whole problem. Here, these ones give free money. Look at it here. They give free money in their own instance. And I will show you another thing. They've ended the free money. This is if you go to Google, because I know I heard about this in September. They stopped everything because they pay subsidy, they pay tax and subsidy on fuel. And they pay, so all the people who pay taxes on fuel, because they wanted the American system to have more EVs, they completely take care of the tax. If you buy EV, they give you incentive of 7,500 for free. They give you another extra 4,000 tax credit. So you're almost getting like 15K for free. So everybody went there. Now that they've stopped it, now every time you go to charge, they charge you money. And now that your rego is more expensive, and now they charge you taxes on for driving EV in the US now. So give us clear terms. Are we going to get to a position where all these tax credits are going to stop? Definitely, they are going to stop. At some point, you're going to feel like you're not making any money and you're going to want to stop it. How are we going to have that conversation? Because most people now are having to sell their EVs, and the reselling value of the EV is bad. It's very, very, very terrible. If you buy an EV now, you want to resell it, is going to be very cheap. So these are a couple of informations that it has to be clear. We want to know. So when we are talking about these things, let's know. And you have to insist that all these companies come in and establish workshops. Now, not just establish workshops, they have to train people. They don't have to train anybody. They have to train all the existing mechanics in the system. I said this about CNG as well. There's no point bringing new people to come and dominate the mechanic system. There's no point. There are already existing mechanics that understands how it works. Mechanics, auto electricians, even normal electricians will be able to kind of work on high voltage system, or all these guys who work in NEPA that does all this high voltage system will be able to work on EVs if you just point them in the right direction. Don't let's bring new people. Let's just say, if you have a qualification in this, you have this amount of years of experience, and you can prove you have it. Please, this is the framework. Let's bring you people and let's turn you people here. In Australia, when Australia wanted to take over, when they wanted to do net zero, what they did was they made it mandatory for every single mechanic, as long as you're a mechanic and you have at least 5 years experience, 5 years, and you have a certificate as a mechanic. So if you have a certificate as a mechanic, you have 5 year experience, you have experience in auto electrician, you can do, you have a ticket, because we have to have a ticket. We call it a ticket or a license. We call it a license for, if you want to do AC, you have to have a license. Auto electrician, you have to have a license. You cannot just be a mechanic and then you are doing every other thing. No, you have to have a license to do them. Now, if you had those licenses, you are eligible to go and do stage 1. Now, if you've done stage 1, now there's stage 2. This November, there's going to be stage 2. Now, this stage 2 is a more advanced, like way advanced. Now, when we say way advanced, you in order for you to be able to do stage 2, you have to have done stage 1. You have to have at least 7 years experience. They are criteria. So it means that the amount of casualties that we're going to have is going to be minimal, because the amount of people that are coming into the system are people who already understand how the system works, and they are going to be able to get to where they need to go on time. There's no point bringing new people. So apprentices, people who have 3 years experience, 4 years experience, because they can tell how much years of experience you have, because the system is well documented. You have to have told them where you've worked, how you've worked, and all of those things. That's my own. They have to give us a clear part on the bill. Now, that's how a bill is supposed to look like. So I know if I'm investing 100%, I already understand. So even if they did it half as good as Dr. Lawal did it, 100%, most people will be on that part already. Or just make the manufacturers do it. I know there's this, I think it's Mr. Babadu. I think Mr. Babatunde is here. Auto Talk. I can't remember. I think it's Auto Talk or Transition, or can't remember who they are, because I met with them when I was in Nigeria. So those people are vehicle manufacturers. Okay, I think it's Babashola. Okay, I think he's trying to say something. So you understand? So those people are vehicle manufacturers. All we need to do, they understand their cars. Good. All we need to do is say, you want to bring your car. Wonderful. You have to train people. Train people on how to fix it, what we are looking at, how we need to go about it. Partner with the government to show all of this. The government doesn't have to physically go and tell University of Akoka or World Technical University of Automobile. What? No, those people don't make the cars. They don't even work on cars most of the time. So we make people who already make it, who work on it. Innocent. If Innocent makes electric cars or he wants people to drive his car, why don't you just show us what is in your car? And then we can help you sell the car, and then we can even use the car as well. So one other, let me go through. So like charging stations, please let them give us, let there be allocation of lands. Let them, so the lands that are closer to, if we want to do the system of the US, which is this 2448 system, this level 1, level 2, level 3, wonderful. Let them allocate land for level 3, allocate land for level 2 and level 1. If it's level 1, you can make it say, okay, good, any residential area that has this that is on band A, or I think they are band A, band B, band C, or whatever. Now give us a clear path so we know people who fall under band level 1, level 2 and level 3. Now if you want to do level 2 or level 3, make it companies, power companies. There's no don't go and create a new sector. Power companies, pull power companies and say, okay, good, these are power generation companies, solar generation companies. Let's try to convert them to do 2 and 3. That will make it quicker if we want to get there on time. So other than that, okay, so which state has the capacity to have that manufacturing? You want us to manufacture 5,000 cars in a year? Wonderful. It's a good idea. The bill is actually not bad. It's a very wonderful bill, because at least for once somebody is thinking to do something. So, but all of these things are what they've left out. I am happy with what they've done, but before they pass the bill, let them give us this framework. It has to contain it. So, doctor, please, if you can find a way to get there, they have to categorically tell us how many cars are we looking at, how many HEVs, how many PHEVs, and how many EVs do we want. Let's do 2 million cars, or 1 million car, or 500,000 cars. So custom now decides to say how many cars are already in the system. 400 or 120 or 300 or 50, whatever amount. Then we circle that and we say, okay, good. Anybody we are going to give licenses to, this is the cap of where we are going, because that's the full cap of what we can produce. So let's not just bring everybody. Everybody just go to China, bring this one in. Everybody just go there, bring this one in. And even most of the things that we are bringing in, how are we going to recycle those batteries if we pull them out? Because those batteries will start going bad. Once they start going bad, how are we going to recycle it? Who is going to recycle it? When are we going to recycle it? Or where? So these are things we need to start putting into position. So if we start doing EVs, if anybody wants to go into battery recycling, you better start thinking now, because those batteries are going to go dead. Somebody has to recycle them. Solar panel is already going dead. Where are they throwing them? We're just throwing them anywhere. So who is going to do like a refurbish for those batteries? Are you going to take the old one and reassemble a new one and give it to people? Let's start battery reassembling plants. From there, we can move forward. Charging station reassembling plants. Let's start from somewhere small. So if that is what they want to give us licenses for, let them tell us. If they tell us, I'm sure that a couple of us here who are electricians, mechanics already, can then now go to China. We go to the people who make those cars and say, or who make those charging stations. The people who make the cars don't make the charging stations. I hope everybody knows that. The people who make the cars don't make the batteries. It is, I did my own certification from Bosch. Bosch is the one who did most batteries in Europe. So Europe as a whole gave the whole thing to Bosch. So Bosch was the one who actually trained Australia as a whole. So you have to understand who made what battery. So if let's say Century is the one who made the battery for Tesla. Century is the only one who can train you on the battery system they've made for Tesla, because they'll have kill switch, they'll have some very, very unwanted parts that are going to go on the cars. For example, most of the Range Rovers, the Mercedes now, they come with about 4 batteries now. Other than the auxiliary battery that you have, the normal 12-volt battery that you have, your dashboard has a battery, your transmission has a battery, your gearbox, transmission, the BCM has a different battery too, which is body control module. There's one other part that has a battery. I think there's 4 of them. So if Range Rover doesn't tell you that they have separate, it was a very terrible day for me that day. I went out to that job, the transmission was jerking and it was complaining about voltage. So all I thought was, it has a 12-volt battery, maybe the battery is dead. We put a new battery in, the same problem. Until I was like, hold on, why am I stressing now? I just went in on I had access to the workshop manual for Range Rover. I went in there and I typed it. I was like, so you guys decided to put 4 different batteries inside this 2025 car. Why? And those batteries are just this small. I don't know if most of us who know Binatone, all those Binatone lamp, those batteries are there. Exactly, that's the size of the battery that is inside those cars. It was a nightmare for everybody. We stood there for hours. So I had to call some of my friends, went into the workshop, and the guy was like, see, Oga, you are stressing yourself. That battery, just put your hand, take the glove box out, put your hand inside. Your hand will touch a battery 100%. There's a battery there. Pull it out, just unplug it, put a new battery in, problem solved. And my brother, lo and behold, I did that, reset the whole system, problem solved. When we thought we had a transmission problem. So you can see that each manufacturer do something different. A 2025 Toyota, now they are making terrible cars. From 20, I think even from 2019, 2017, they started making terrible cars because they started adding things that you will not even know that they are there. So you see that it is very, very important that the manufacturers tell us what they are doing. So you see where my own part comes in. You see where doctor's part comes in. Doctor's part is to make sure the legislation are being drawn to the best way that it needs to be drawn. My own job is to make sure they make it as transparent and as visible to everybody as possible. So everybody who is a mechanic already understands what we are talking about. So just not to take our time, I've already talked which states, which EVs are we doing. So private EV charging station, allocation lands. So that's pretty much it. I will not bore us with much story because there's just so many lapses that we are not thinking of from the technician perspective. People who make the cars don't fix it. They don't fix cars, they just make them. I know a lot of mechanical engineers that I go to their house to fix their cars. They don't fix it. All they do is, we make cars, I work in the factory, we make the cars, I do the design. You do the design. Why did you just have to put this one bolt? There's 3 bolts here. 3, all right? 2 is visible. Why did you go and put this one? If I just want to take this one bolt, I could take this 2 by just going underneath and take 2 out. Just to take this one last one, I have to take 5 things out. Oh, well, it's because we had to do it like that. We are saving money. You are saving money, but if I had to explain to a customer saying that it will take me 10 hours to replace a battery, what would the customer tell me? The person will be like, are you sure you know what you are doing? But it is your fault. It's because of the way you designed it. So please, this is my own take about the whole thing. So I have gone through the bill. I went through everything. I read it properly. And doctor has just done justice to it. But this is where me am picking it from. So the statistics of people, many people who is the net zero is fine. The government is the final say. Nobody's arguing it. But in order to get to the net zero, they have to be clear. So they cannot just pass that bill like that. They need to consult people like you, people like me. They need to consult dealers, because we're not going to bring in cars people are not going to buy. So what are we going to do? So what if we want to bring 25% of cars, or we want to make it 25% and people are not buying it? So the orientation has to be there as well. So, but well, let me just leave it at that, because I know a lot of people have plenty questions. So let me leave it at that.
Well done, Priyanka. I think you have said it all. Actually, you see, I think
Doctor,
I was once a
Doctor, sir,
administrator.
sorry to interrupt you, Doctor. Sorry to
Okay,
interrupt you, sir. I just want to
very
make
good.
announcement again that if you have question, please use the if you check the bottom of your screen, you will see three dots. When you click it, you will see the hand icon. Please select it. Look at when I select my hand is showing now. So use it to indicate that you have a question, so that so you direct your question to either Dr. Lawal or Engineer Benga. Please let us do that immediately, so that we know how many people that are asking questions, and we begin to, wrap up for the evening. We've used over 1 hour already. But while Engineer was speaking, Doctor, please, I will let you respond in a moment. While the engineer was speaking, I was already asking my team that have they reached out to Prof? Prof. Then I saw Prof. So I don't know when Prof joined. I was saying, Prof must see the presentation of Doctor on this bill, and I was really hoping to hear the perspective of Prof on the on the bill, and to the glory of God. And then I saw him, so I don't know if he joined early, but I'm sure he's going to have something, one or two things to say. So welcome, Prof. Good
Sorry,
to see
I
you again,
joined
and I
late.
can see
Sorry.
more people. Yeah, no problem, sir. You missed a lot. We'll share the presentation, and we'll share the slide also to the group. But for now, you can make contribution when there's time, if you have anything to add. But let me not, without any further ado, let me invite Dr. back. But please don't forget, if you want to ask your question, indicate by raising up your hand. Use the hand icon. When you
Is
click
it
the
a
three
question?
dots, you will see the hand icon. Thank you. Yes, sir. Please go on. No, I want you to respond to. You were responding to engineer earlier. Please go on, sir. Sorry to interrupt you.
Hello?
Yeah, doctor, we can hear you now, sir.
Network.
Sir, so doctor, just to help your network, I think your network is lagging. You can turn off your video. When you turn off your video, it can strengthen your network
Okay,
a bit better. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Please
okay,
go on,
great.
sir.
Okay, good. So, what's the question?
No, you were about to respond to engineer Benga earlier, to some of the things he
Oh,
said about the bill. Please go on, sir.
yeah. Yeah, as I was saying, I happen to be a former parliamentarian, but at the state level, I was a former state assembly member. So usually, when when bills are introduced into the assembly, either private member bill or executive bill, it usually go through three levels. So now, after it has been read the second time, it will now be referred to the relevant committee of the House. And I believe that committee will call for public hearing. So, and before that day of the public hearing, they will usually ask for memorandum from interested stakeholders and the other relevant stakeholders. There are interested stakeholders who just have interest in what is going on, and there are existing stakeholders who are really major stakeholders in that industry. So each and every one of these will be invited to submit a memorandum for or against, or even with observations. It could be just observation, it could be addition, it could be subtraction, like Mr. Bienga has been saying that, okay, what is the framework for the implementation of the bill? How many cars are we talking about? And when you go to the downstream of recycling of batteries, solar panel for the energy. So all this nitty-gritty, some of them used to come as an addendum, as a bylaws. So the bill as it is may be just like this, but the bylaws by the implementing agency may make more detailed. If you remember, during April budget cycle, when the Senate or the National Assembly passed the budget, the Minister of Finance will come later to give breakdown. So also April bill may have further breakdown and additions, which are now called bylaws. They are addendums to the law. So in other words, all these observation by Mr. Bienga could be accommodated depending on the members of the committee, and if they make the public hearing all inclusive, because some may just make a public hearing not known to the people, and they may not reach out to relevant stakeholders, and they just pass a bill with many lacunas, as the lawyer used to say, with many footholds, with many gaps. So I hope that now that it is at the committee level, before it now go for plenary, it has to be scrutinized by the committee, a relevant committee. I suggest it could be Committee of Industry or what have you. I don't know which one it has been referred to, but I believe the normal procedure is that they will call for public hearing from all interested stakeholders that has interest in this bill. So that is my submission as per Bienga's comment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. I'll be going to the queue now so that we can ask our questions. Just a moment, let me put the queue. Okay, please, if you have any question, please raise your hand. I'm going to be, okay, I think Prof is up. Prof, please go ahead, sir. And good to see you again on
Is that
this
for me?
webinar. Welcome, sir.
Sir? Good afternoon, good evening in some places, good morning in some places. Thank you. I've really been looking forward to in down this. You know, I'm a professor. I'm not very good with all these legal things and also. So I'm looking forward to really hearing it being broken down. Fortunately, I joined it quite late while Mr. Gbenga was asking so many questions, and I quite agree with him. Okay, so let me give you my example first. So I was driving my small car around, the one I got from China, exactly in the first year anniversary I thought, oh, this brake pad is making so much noise. Then I called mechanic to change the brake pads. Unfortunately, we will not get the brake. We'll use Nigeria style. We're just going to repad the brake. So we did. Then and then it hooked. And I guess when it hooked, the car shut down. Then later we found out that some electrical parts faulty. So from the was chip inside the forgotten the name of this. Sorry, I've been tired. I'm in the lab the other part. So it said the chip, according to that chip, something inside the accelerator. We tested out and found that it's not the chip we tested. Then we moved to some other chips in the car. We didn't want to go to the big place. So we tested and later we now go to the big place, which is the controller. Is the controller. Then we open the controller where I'm me and my guys. So the controller we now found that around 2 MOSFET got burned. So, and then we said, okay, instead of calling this guy, let's just test his we go other message the exact I put it in. Then after all we are inputting it because we have to buy online and we have to 2 weeks every time. And we now found that after everything we could not do anything. So we have to agree with ourselves that we have tried to the technology, we've seen what's inside, we realize there are so many things inside we could. Unfortunately, you can't just read the motherboard like that. So my guys are still learning the motherboard. Why I go ahead and tell guys in China, your car is faulty, not working well, just send me a new controller. And like, oh, why should I say, just send me a controller? That is all I want to know. So at the end of the day, they agree, they'll send new controller at $78, and which is quite not very, very expensive. So one of the things I and the guys agreed that anytime we are going to sell to anybody, let's just get multiples of the controller, which is the main thing that can get spoiled there. So that's one of our experience. So just like this agreement, you can't just say, oh, because this is the Nigerians we are. Oh, can you hear me now? Am I clear?
Yes,
Yes,
can
sir.
hear you.
Yeah. So we Nigerians, we just like that thing. We travel abroad, and the abroad place we see drinking gutter water. We just come to Nigeria and say there's good gutter water there. Let's make a rule about drinking gutter water without checking our environment, without checking in all the food they are making. How many Nigerians can afford electric vehicle at this point in time? Can I afford it? I've seen some friends that said they can afford it. I'm still waiting. About 100 million and everything. Some people can afford it. I can't understand. So it's not just about making rules, which is why I enjoyed it being brought to this place. It's about seeing something outside the country working, or they are still trying to make it work. Just like Mr. Benghazi, there are so many things that have changed now. The all the government incentives and everything, so many things. You can't, in some states, you can't believe, if you have some problem, you won't believe how much they will tax you just for entering the state with your electric vehicle. So we see that they are still struggling with it. They will come with what we have not yet. You have already started making rules and regulations. And most of the time, the rules and regulation is to make money for some people. A culture needs to be on ground before you start thinking to mass it. the clothes the masquerade will wear, the kind of drum will be for the masquerade. In Nigeria, we just say, oh, that's the way, and we just want to do it. But has not even picked up. By the time you start many rules like I'm saying, I didn't start from the beginning. You'll find that this even pick up. It's better you people what makes regulations, minor regulations, they start using big regulations. People, this is where you can charge, this is where you can. I know some brought in Tesla and everything. How has the charging been before you even say that somebody is going to be using 3-phase meter to charge? Number one. Number two, where are you going to get the network, the internet, and everything to be working with? Anyway, so many questions there which we need to, by the time we feel we'll be able to put something together and really send to the right person. This is what we think. And good explanation of every part and every section of what is being said. So it's not just what things like we adopted democracy in Nigeria. It's like how can we adopt things that will favor Nigerians? As far as I'm concerned, the smallest part being sold by innocent, the car is around something million. It's inside. How many Nigerians are going to afford 30 million? But that's more. Even my own that I said I'm selling people for some point. I'm not 1.5 million. I'm going to put on one. Okay. So many things are being changed. So many things are going on. I had my under outside, and I'm going to change it. Then I met somebody doing in a staff, and the guy was telling me, "Oh, you need to go and change your battery." I was like, "Why?" And your battery is 250 kilograms. It's too heavy. So I had to call the battery company. Please change my battery to 1.5, which is like 30 or 50 kg. That's what they are now reproducing. They are supposed to have given to me, but I don't want that other battery. So another 15 days to get that battery. So many things we've never started and we're already looking at tools. So please appreciate something else after this program is done. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I think Prof is done with the submission, but we were struggling to hear you, Prof, your network. But I don't know if many of our speakers would like to respond to some of the things he said. I know I could just hear and pick up some things. I don't know if we were able to also. Malga, please go on, sir.
Yeah. So see, it's still the same thing that I've said. There's a lot of recalls on most cars. Like I think I was asking the other day, I was speaking to a road safety official. I think that was the head of their ICT system or something. And he was like, "Oh, yes, we're doing well." And I asked him, I said, "Our senators bought 108 car Lexus, right? Do you know that the same Lexus, there's about how many recalls for that car? There's more than 5 recalls for that car. Who is going to do it in Nigeria?" So we have recalls for just combustion engine. So at least, but those combustion engine, we're still able to find our way around it. But when you have electric car, my brother, it doesn't matter. See, once you don't do the software update, it doesn't work because most of those things work for with software. It's network. There's no story. So if there's most problems, I think I've seen a couple of cyber trucks. Well, it's on Instagram. I'm not sure if it's true or not. I've seen a couple of cyber trucks just parked. But you know that if they just had access to, if they don't jailbreak things in Nigeria and they just have access to the normal server, they can just do the update for you online and then you're done. But what's the point of keep bringing BYD? We brought BYD to the country now. No problem. It's wonderful. Now there are recalls for BYD. Who is going to do it? People just bring things in. Custom just clears things, and we're not saying anything. There's TSB for every car. Every single car, I mean every single car that you make, they always make them to have problems because they never make them 100%. What they do is they make them say about 50, 55, 60%. Now, what happens to recalls is that, for example, in Australia, if there's a recall on, say, Mazda CX-5, so there's a recall on dipstick. So what happened was that we kept overfilling the engine because what the engineer did was, it was just the dipstick was just, I think, half an inch shorter. So when we check the dipstick after we've done the service, the oil is always still very short, and we've already put the maximum required amount of oil. If it says most of the Mazda CXs is about 4.7 liter of oil, we will put the 4.7 liter. We'll check the dipstick, and we'll find out that the oil is still showing that this is very low. Eventually, we started overfilling the oil. So we now started having issues of engine going bad, engines going bad, engines going bad. So I think one of the days, one of the technicians used a different dipstick from another car to actually just check. And he found out that the oil was way over full. Then we reported the TSB and said, okay, good. There's something wrong with this dipstick. We cannot be filling. You say the total amount of oil is supposed to go into this guy's 4.7 liters. And we are ending up putting 6 liters of oil. Now we have a lot of these cars parked in our workshop, hydraulic locked. So then the manufacturers now found out that there was a short, the dipstick was short. Now, it is because some couple of people were able to take the manufacturers to court, and they won in court. That's why they are doing the recall. So all those engines that are hydraulic locked, they replaced all those and put new engines in them, paid the dealership to put new engine, and then they now did a national recall for dipstick. So your car just comes in, we send you an email out, we'll just change your dipstick. Send you an email, we'll just change it. That's all the recall was all about. Now, the difference is those cars has come to Nigeria, and we have kept overfilling the engine. Now, if you put another engine in that car, you will still keep overfilling it because you do not know that there's a recall for it. So Nigeria is completely isolated from the world. Completely isolated. So these are things that our government is supposed to insist on when you are bringing your cars. We agree that you bring it, but you have to open your TSB system for us to know if there's recalls. And if there are recalls, who is going to do them? You don't necessarily have to have a dealership in Nigeria. You have to have a partnership, which the bill has agreed to do. Just have partnership with a couple of companies. Now, the couple of companies has to have somebody who is qualified, but not everybody. Most in Africa, there's probably no company that actually does training in Africa. So how do we now do it? You force the same set of people to bring people to Nigeria to actually train couple of. You want to have partnership, wonderful. Then come and train your partners. How many partners do you want to have? I only want to have 5. Wonderful. Choose the 5. Let those 5 choose a couple of people and then train them. Simple, problem solved. So it means that if anything happens to that vehicle in Nigeria, there's 5 people in Nigeria that you can still call that will make things easier for you if you buy the car. So this is exactly where we're going. So this bill that they are doing, I know it goes through reading, which Dr. Lawal has already explained to us. But these things should already be in this bill before it goes through all this reading. Because there has to be a clear terms what we are doing. How much am I putting in? If I want to put 5 billion there or $5 billion with this bill that they put through now, if I decide that I have maybe $1 million that I want to invest in Nigeria, this bill is not telling me anything whatsoever. It is not telling me anything to even have a clearer part of investment in Nigeria under this bill. So they should spell it out. Let them give us a clear terms of what we are doing. So this is just my own way of thinking, that we have to get this done. It has to be this way. We cannot make the same mistakes we're making with ICE engine, with electric cars. This one is more expensive because once they make one mistake, everything is gone. Same thing Prof is saying. Your brake pad is one. You went to buy the car. Brake pad is one. Brake pad does not exist in Nigeria. Somebody has to sell the part before you buy the car. And I wish Nigeria was a part where you can just order something from China and it's easier to come in if you don't find people who will scam you online. So let me just leave it at that. So that's pretty much around where we may have to insist anybody that is bringing it under this bill, they have to have presence in Nigeria. They have to have service centers in Nigeria. We have to be able to do recalls in Nigeria. Any recall that happens anywhere in the world, those 5 people, if these 5 partners you have, we have to start investigating and make sure it doesn't happen in our own cars too, because we'll have general problems too. So that's my own take about it. I don't know if Dr. Lawal has something to say about what Prof have said. Over to you, Babajini. Oh, okay.
I think
Dr. Lawal.
No, your comment is very okay. It's in order. I think I have no much to say. You have explained it all. Where we hope the National Assembly will really bring in stakeholders to adequately give input, necessary input, before this bill become a law. Because, like you said, they shouldn't just bring everything to Nigeria without details of what is there in the TSB. And of course, even the investment pathways. This is where we have problem in Nigeria. I happen to be, as a climate finance specialist, I happen to be part of the committee that packaged the nationally determined contribution of the Paris Agreement on climate change. And you see, up till today, what Nigeria is lacking is those investable projects, those specific projects that, okay, you want to attract climate finance. This electric vehicle is one of it. I submit a project on electric vehicle. They just invited us for a meeting in Lagos since, I think, March this year. Up till today, no further feedback. So you can see, like you said, Nigeria is somehow isolated. We lack the capacity of coordinating things properly. So to summarize my input, I think the National Assembly will invite the relevant stakeholder to really make all this necessary input to the bill. Otherwise, it will be fast, and that's why you see some bills, before they are even implemented, you call them back for review, which is uncalled for. So it's better to do the homework now before they were passed, instead of
passing a bill, and immediately after passing it, people start to criticize it, critique it, and they have to call it back for a review. So I will advise anybody to advise this committee to really bring in relevant stakeholders to give necessary input. That is my submission. Thank you.
Thank you, sirs. Thank you very much, sirs. I'm going to take some of the comments from the very day that one of our members on the group on WhatsApp, the day the person sent the shared the bill with us on the page, and there were some reactions. And the first reaction was a call for this very, very webinar. Is the gov on this webinar? The gov. Are you there, sir?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, Mr. Idowu,
Yeah, thank you for having me, and thank you for the opportunity, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy that you're here because you were the one that first, shared your comment and said we should have a webinar on this. So I didn't even know that you were the one. You're welcome, sir. Hope you've learned a lot from the webinar today.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I'm new to the field of EV and all stuff. I'm just a car enthusiast, and I always want to learn new things. So, and to me, when things are coming in like this, one needs to key in and see how it works, especially when I'm a car dealer, and can I say, I'm a bit expert in CNG of a thing. So I also register. Okay, I want to share this. National Open University is organizing a train on the auto diagnosis and the EV, though I think is at early stage. So I think this will form part of what doctors and our honorable engineer, Mr. Gwenga, have been saying concerning the need for the establishment of a training center, the research center, and all stuff. So I think government is working a bit around that, but like it has been explained and analyzed by the expert, I think we need to do more if we truly want to go on this journey. EV, with what I've learned, what I've read on it, over with what Dr. Prof and Mr. Gwinga have said, I think we have a long way to go. And National Assembly, they should not just make it as a kind of a one-way bill. When I think the bill was sponsored by the Senator Oji. So it shouldn't be something that somebody just say, okay, we can cash out from this without knowing the implication of this on the street. At the same time, I want to appreciate Mr. Binga for mentioning something. Even though some of our so-called mechanics are not really ready, in quotes, some of them are not really ready to go in line with the global tech. So we need to globalize this. Globalize, I mean, we need to step down the technology down to from abroad there down to our various roadside mechanic. But what I've learned, some of them, I want to make an example. So there is this one of my mechanic, a rewire. I've told him several times, you need to get all this diagnostic machine and everything. In fact, one of our colleagues in abroad say he will send money because he loved the man. He will send the money, he will do this. But I've seen that most of them, may I say, semi-literate, or they are not even ready to learn. So I think government need to do more to sensitize them, do more workshop, then force them if possible, to go and learn from those centers, especially the adult classes like the one Nan is doing, even though it might be a bit not really how do I mean expatriate thing, but at least they should give them opportunity, the avenue. They too should be willing, ready to come in if we truly want to go in with this. So I want to appreciate everyone, and I want to comment because I believe Mr. Gbenga, Mr. Bamidele, you've spent a lot. I saw the sponsor on the Facebook, and I know when you sponsor something, it's not for free. Nobody is paying you for this. So we need to commend you. And like I've been saying, I think you need to, Mr. Gbenga need to step down something for us here in Nigeria. Maybe you establish a kind of this thing. We, some of us, we push it up. So I want to say a big thank you to everyone. Thank you very much for honoring this call.
Thank you very much, sir, for your kind words. I don't know if there is any response to that on the side of doctor or our engineer. If there is, okay, please go on, Maga.
Oh, okay, Mr. Egwewumi. See, it is very, very important. Like I said, the TSB, if it is available, like there's no problem. I mean, there's virtually no problem that I face here that I cannot find a solution to, because it is easier for me to just go on even on my scan tool, there's TSB there. If I just connect to internet, it tells me that there's a TSB for it. I might not be able to have the software to do it, but at least I know what the problem is. Then I can say, okay, go to the dealer. The dealer is the only one who has the software to do this. So see, it is the government who can force these manufacturers to come and give access. I can get access, but I'm only one person. And let me don't lie to you. I have a workshop in Nigeria. It is so difficult to work for Nigeria. It is very difficult. It is as bad as there's one car that came to my workshop 2 days ago here. The mechanic wanted to replace the fuel pump, right? So the previous mechanic who did the job, they broke the fuel level sender. So they couldn't tell what the level is. They now use binding wire to bind the fuel level sender and put the pump back. And the problem is you have iron inside fuel and you are driving around. Why can you not just go into the market, replace the part you broke and put it back there? So there's a lot of job ethics, very terrible ones that we have. And they're now moving to electric cars with the same mindset. My brother, we have a big problem. Oh. So let's not go that far. So why don't we start upgrading the system? Start pushing things out. National Open University that is opening this kind of things. I am sure they'll just go and download everything. Everything, me, I'm telling you. If you come into my workshop, I will sit you down. I will show you how it's been done. I will bring the equipment and I will show you. That's how to learn, not just to give you all the theories. That's why a lot of Nigerians know how to read and how to pass exams. But how to actually do the job, most don't know. Most people who know how to do the job don't know how to read and pass the exams. So we should change that too. If we're able to change that, then maybe things will start changing. So let me let other people ask their questions too.
Okay, thank you, Maga. So yes, I'm going to be calling on Mr. John. So Mr. John, just a moment, sir, before you unmute your mic. You are the next on the queue to ask your question. Just a moment. I want to take some comments after this view was shared on the group. So there was another bill sent, even though I've not personally confirmed this. It's and the headline was Senate moves to phase out petrol cars, moves electric vehicle bill, which, that, okay, we're looking at beginning to move away completely from um, combustion engine and move straight into EVs. And then there are a couple of very, very fierce resistance on our group. Let me take the first one by Manias. He said, is it the same Nigeria that cannot buy 10 million naira Tokumbo car that they want to force 30 million naira EV on? So I think some of us have talked about affordability already. The next comment, okay, there's no name reflecting there. This is a bit harsh. He said, foolish, brainless people. We produce oil, yet we don't want to patronize oil. We want to move to electric cars, which we don't produce the batteries. I think that has been mentioned also that, production of some of those things has to move here. Always thinking upside down. Well, I see this as a mere distraction. So I don't know in case you want to make a comment on that. Dr. Sir, please go on, sir.
Hello, Bienga. Hello, Bienga.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Please, I want to advise next time we should have time frame for our webinars. This is already after 6, and we are going for prayer, so I have to take excuse. So next time we should have time frame that this is when we are ending, please. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
So I don't know if I can quit there. I hope there is no question. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe how many minutes more can you give us, Doctor, before you go? In case someone wants to direct the question.
5 minutes. I can give 5 minutes. It's already time for
thank you, sir.
prayers. Yes.
Okay, sir. Let me just take Mr. John. Are you asking any question to Doctor?
Hello, sir.
What is Mr. John's question?
Yes. Are you directing your question to Doctor? Mr. John.
Yes, I want to stand on the existing protocol, sir.
Please go on, sir.
I want to speak on the perspective of a mechanic. I am one, and I have been in the field for a very long time. Also a graduate of mechanical engineering, but that is irrelevant in the scheme of things now. I want to also say I am the first graduate. I'm one of the first graduates of the National Open University on electric vehicle and auto diagnostics. In fact, anywhere I see electric vehicle, I'd like to see how I can be able to align myself, and that is one of the reasons why I am also here today. In fact, virtually everything they have spoken, I would like Mr. Agbenga to push this thing beyond this office. We should go all the length to see, and if he can be able to make a means for which some of us can be able to engage him on one-on-one, please, it's a plea, because I don't want to waste your time, on one-on-one, and see how some of us as well can also get more knowledge and also make an impact in the society. Otherwise, even the ordinary internal combustion engine we have very terrible hands that are managing it. I was privileged to speak as a resource person in one of the school, went on their career day, and in fact, it was a pity. If you go to our workshop now, the auto mechanic, the speed is being left in the hands of quacks, people who doesn't even have business with the system. They are the ones who are there now doing what they are not supposed to. Some of them doesn't even have interest in it. So please, it's a plea. Please, people should push it beyond this point, and let's see if the system will be sanitized and will get a system that meets the global standard. Thank you very much. That is my little contribution, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So just in case there's a direct question to doctor, let me take BS3. Are you there, sir? BS3 Auto Services. BS3, are you there? Okay, doctor, we don't want to waste your time. Normally, we're supposed to wrap by 6. But if you have any final words before you take your leave, kindly let us have it, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Abamidele, I just want to commend you people for bringing these stakeholders together. I think there is need to maybe to organize another webinar that we can have a position paper that we can give to National Assembly as stakeholders. So we can coin a name for this group. Either we call it AB stakeholder, whatever. We look at suitable name that will include both mechanic, the academia, the technocrat like us, and everybody, so that we have a position paper that we can give to National Assembly to include all these our concern and observations. So I just want to suggest either in the next webinar we will be compiling, you the rapporteur will be compiling those suggestions in one place, or maybe we call for input from the group. Then the secretariat will now compile them and share in the group. Then we discuss it and have a common position that will be given to the National Assembly. So we get a powerful title that we can give to this stakeholder group. These are our observations. We commend their efforts so far, but these are our observations prior to the passing of this bill. And we are calling for the incorporation of this our concern. Thank you. That's my suggestion.
Thank you very much, doctor. That's very, very, very laudable. Thank you so much for always gracing us with your presence. We are very, very grateful, sir. We are going to work towards this that you have recommended. Thank you so much, doctor. We are grateful.
Okay, goodbye.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm blessed. All of you,
Yes,
Thank you, sir.
Prof, and all other stakeholders, happy to be with you for these 2 hours. Have a blessed
thank you,
day.
sir.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much.
Goodbye.
Goodbye,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. John, for the great comments. BS3, are you with us now? BS3 Automobile Services. Okay, it seems he is not with us at the moment. I want to appreciate every one of us for taking time to join this webinar. So you might be, just before I call back engineer, I want to, you might be wondering that who are the people that has put this together. So this is Vehicle Checks. Vehicle Checks is actually a vehicle reporting company, vehicle history reporting company. And we have a website. Our website is www.vehiclechecks.net. I'm going to be sending the link to the charts. So you can check your VIN here. You can check your vehicle history reports. You can get your window stickers. And we have, of course, our VIN decoder is working very, very, very fine. And also we have a section where you can, report on stolen vehicles. So maybe, God forbid, there is issue with a stolen vehicle, you can add it to our database, and someone else is going to, you might be helping someone else to avoid buying a stolen car when you make the report. So if they come to check here, they will be able to see that, oh, this car has already been registered as stolen. And while vehicle checks, which has been in operation all over the world, when we're coming to Nigeria, we decided to, okay, our dynamics in Nigeria is a bit different, slightly. Okay, Mr. Idowu, I will respond to you in a moment. When we saw that the dynamics of the automobile industry in Nigeria is slightly different, we decided to come to, okay, Mr. John, I will do that. I will send it to WhatsApp, to the WhatsApp group. If you're on the WhatsApp group, you will get the links. So for vehicle, so in coming to Nigeria, we decided to create something that is peculiar to the Nigerian market, and that gave birth to vehicle use. I'm sending it right to the chat also. So vehicleuse.com is a platform where you are going to be able to indicate the use of your car, what you use it for, and this will help add to your layer of security, whereby no other person will be able to drive in your name. So let us say, for instance, now I have my car registered on vehicle use, and I indicate the use to be, okay, let us say personal. I indicate it as personal. And you come, maybe someone wants to sell that same car to you, and you come to our platform to vehicle use, and you check it and you see that, oh, this car belongs to this person. You'll be able to, even you can get my phone number on the platform and reach out that, oh, okay, I'm buying this car and I saw that it's in your name. What's up? And aside from that, let us say, for instance, you are about to sell your car and it's your own car, and you want to avoid somebody else, the person you want to sell it to, maybe the person buying it, they want to use it to commit a form of atrocity without changing the documents of the vehicle. There is a product that we have here that we call notice of disposal. So notice of disposal, let me just share my screen. A moment, please. Let me share this window. So moment of notice of disposal is here. You will see it also if you use your phone to browse. Notice of disposal is an indication where if you are selling a car, even if you are a car dealer, you've sold the car and you want to be sure that the person you are selling to will not be driving that car in the name of your dealership or in your personal name. If you are a private individual, you can come here and fill the detail of the car, the price you sold it for, the registration number, the model, yada, yada, yada. And you will also let the person fill these details here. The person buying the car is going to indicate also here, license number and all that, the address. And you submit. This is just a database that will indicate that you have dispose this car, and that means that this car is no longer under your ownership. I know that yes, there are registrations, within the federal law that you can do this with, but this is actually an extra layer of security while you are working on your documentation, and it's a quick fix for in case, like I said, somebody is about to do something shady, and you can pull this up anytime, any day. So please, before you buy your next vehicle, ensure you come here to also check. You are going to input the details, and it's going to be registered on our database. Thank you very, very, very much. If you have any questions about any of these websites that I put in here, feel free to ask on the WhatsApp platform or on any of our social media platform. On Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, you can look for vehicle use, and on TikTok, on Instagram, you can check for vehicle checks also. vehicle__check for Instagram. Thank you very much. If you have any question, because of our time, we might not be able to take any more. Please feel free to ask on the WhatsApp group. If you are not yet on the WhatsApp group, reach out to the young lady that reached out to you earlier, or the brother that reached out to you earlier, and let them know that you would like to join the WhatsApp group. I'm sure they've sent you the link anyways. So please feel free to join, and stay blessed. Enjoy the rest of your week. Before we go, I would like to call on the MDC of Vehicle Checks Vehicle Use, Mr. Intina to give his closing words. Are you with us, sir? Malga?
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone, for always coming through for the webinar. I really appreciate it. So we're just here to do our own 2 bits to help the government. We can't leave it to them. So it is us that is actually reaping the benefit of whatever they do too. So please feel free to ask any questions. And Mr. Ebewumi Musibao, my workshop is in Abuja. It's in Abuja. So that's where my workshop is. So we're just here to say the 2 pieces that we can. So if anyone has any question or anything you want to ask, or you have anywhere we can how will I say it, we can talk to, because it is to the benefit of everybody if the system works perfectly fine. So please let us know if you can help. We can help with a lot of things as well. So thank you so much, everyone. I'll leave everyone to it now. God bless you all. Thank you.